Hello and welcome to my movement analysis. My name is Lewis Murray and my student number is 19043216. So this is a movement analysis of a boxing punch, specifically a jab. Now the topics I will be covering in this presentation will be the muscular system, the skeletal system, the planes of movement, the acute responses, the long-term responses, and the energy systems. Okay, so there are two different stages of a boxing punch. You have the stance, which if you are right-handed is this orthodox stance shown here. Left-handed is a reversal, which is known as a southpaw stance. And the finishing position is as demonstrated by this. Now, this is a little gif of the movement in motion. Okay, so to start with, I will talk about the feet and ankles, which is a dorsiflexion, which is an isometric contraction. This is caused by the contraction of the soleus and the extension of the gastrocnemius. Then going up the body to the knee, this is where the tibia fibula and the femur are connected, and there is a slight bend in the knee, which is caused by a contraction of the biceps femoris, the semitendinosus, the semimembranosus, as this is the antagonist of this movement. The agonist is the muscles in the quadricep group, which is the vastus lateralis, the rectus femoris, the vastus medialis. The fixator is the gracilis, as this keeps the knee joint sturdy, as also the gastrocnemius and the soleus act as fixators in this as well. Now, moving up the body, you have the waist, which is where the gluteus maximus contracts, which causes extension at the waist, the hip joint, which is where the femur meets the pelvis, the pubis, a pelvic girdle. This is, like I said, caused by the contraction of the gluteus maximus and the extension of the hip flexor. As you get up the body, the abdominal rectus abdominis are contracted, as well as the external obliques and the gluteal medius. This causes the body, this causes flexion at the hip, at the waist as well, which allows the body to stay upright as seen in these photos. Moving on to the shoulder. This is where to start with, I will discuss the shoulder joint itself, which is where the scapula, clavicle, and the are joined at the shoulder joint to the humerus. The muscles being used in this motion at the first standing stage is the deltoid, which is extending. The contraction is done by the latissimus dorsi, as this causes adduction at the shoulder joint. Then this is included. Then the next stage is the adduction happens on the frontal plane. The sagittal plane is where the deltoid and the pectoral contract, which causes the arm to be slightly raised. This causes an abduction on the sagittal plane, and then going down to the elbow joint, which is where the the humerus meets the radius and ulna, as the contraction of this joint causes the arm to, the angle of the joint at the elbow to decrease. And then following this up is supination. At the supination, which is the motion that the palms face upwards, as if they were facing, they would be upwards, as this is caused by the contraction of the brachioradialis. That is where the radius and ulna meet the carpal bones. Now the next stage is obviously the punch, which is where the legs stay the same. There is a slight rotation on the axial plane, which isn't shown. That is a line. That's a line directly through the middle, and this is, as he has gone from his back, is there. As you see in this, in photo 1 to photo 2, it's slightly changed shape, and the arm is abducted from the body on the sagittal plane by the contraction of the pectoralis major and the deltoid, with the extension of the latissimus dorsi and the trapezius. And the arm is also adducted to the body on the frontal plane, which is caused by the contraction of the pectoralis major. And then moving down the arm, the elbow is now extended as it was contracted in this. This is caused by the antagonistic pair of the bicep and the tricep working together, as this extends the arm at the elbow joint by the contraction of the tricep brachii and the extension of the bicep brachii. And there is pronation in the arms, which is caused by the extension of the brachioradialis. Now, the acute and long-term responses of boxing are boxing as a whole. The acute responses, which will happen just after a boxing session, will be muscular fatigue, as is where the muscles have used energy and are now tired as they need oxygen replenishment. An oxygen debt, which is caused by working anaerobically, which I will cover later. Then increase in body temperature, which is as the blood starts moving around the body carrying the oxygen. It increases the body temperature as the blood is warm and it rises to the surface of the skin as it has to move to the necessary muscles being worked. The increased heart rate is the heart increasing the amount of blood it is pumping around the body. And the increased breathing rate is to start to pay off the oxygen debt. That happens straight away, as there is a lack of there's a depletion of oxygen, and the body is a natural reaction to pay it back. The long-term effects are muscular hypertrophy, which is the increase in size and power of the muscles, increase in VO2 max, increasing lung capacity, which is the amount of the volume of air the lungs can hold, increasing cardiovascular fitness, which is it increases the amount of blood the heart can pump around the body. The stroke volume, which is the volume of blood the heart can pump around the body, that will increase. The tidal volume, the amount of oxygen your lungs can take in each breath. And then cardiac hypertrophy, which is similar to muscular hypertrophy, as the heart is a muscle and it increases in size as it is worked. Now onto the energy systems. A jab, as I covered in boxing, will use this energy system. It is the ATP system, and it happens when your adenosine triphosphate in your body is an enzyme is used to break up this bond, which causes 0 to 3 seconds of energy, which is good for, as I said, a boxing jab, as that's a short, powerful burst. The next one is the phosphocreatine system, which is used for 3 to 10 seconds of the 3 to 10 second movement, which would probably be in boxing a combination. So short, sharp, but longer than 3 seconds. And this is where the adenosine triphosphate, one of the phosphates the bonds have been broken, which causes the energy. So this is an exothermic reaction. And then it requires an endothermic reaction, which is phosphocreatine, which is creatine and phosphate. Creatine kinase causes them two to break, which is an endothermic reaction, as this requires something for it to happen, which means the phosphate joins the adenosine diphosphate, which causes adenosine triphosphate. Now the lactic acid system is 0 to 30 seconds that's how long it takes for it to replenish fully. So this would be round of high intensity boxing, as it is this would be a combination in boxing, as opposed to, as this one is a left then a right, this would be a flurry, as combination followed by evading and avoiding a punch and ducking and dodging. As this is where glycogen this is called glycolysis, as glycogen is converted to glucose in the body, and then phosphofructokinase reacts with this, which causes pyruvic acid. As there is no oxygen present, this converts to lactic acid, and this is equivalent to 2 ATP stores, which is why it is better, and it gives you more energy per contraction. The energy system now is the Krebs cycle, which is where there is oxygen present, which will be around in boxing, which will be a continuous round in boxing at a medial, where there is oxygen present, and the body is not working hard enough to merit an oxygen debt, which is rare in boxing. It is a very similar stage to the lactic acid system, which is anaerobic glycolysis. As you can see, the stage is here, but when oxygen is present, 2 ATP is combined with carbon dioxide, which causes electrons to move between, and this is equivalent to 34 ATP. So this one is better and more efficient than the others, but it's harder to obtain. And this is a list of the references I have used in the presentation. Thank you for listening.